He was one mistake away from being sent home for good. But instead, that mistake changed everything. This is the untold story of the day Cristiano Ronaldo almost lost it all. And the moment that proved he was never going to stop. Stay with us. You've never heard this part before. The day he packed his bags. Cristiano had never been more sure that he was going home. His suitcase was already half-zipped, stuffed with the few shirts and track pants he owned. The academy dorm room was quiet, too quiet for a place that usually buzzed with late-night whispers and the clatter of cleats being kicked off. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. For hours earlier, he had made the biggest mistake of his young career. It started with an argument, nothing unusual. Training had been rough. He felt singled out. Maybe he was. Maybe he deserved it. But instead of swallowing it like every other day, he snapped. Words were said. Loudly. Too loudly. A ball was kicked, hard, right into the locker. Then a door slammed. His coach, a man known for silence more than shouting, had pulled him aside. You want to be a star? Learn to lose like one. That stung more than the yelling would have. The staff didn't say much after that. Just a call. A meeting. You're not taking this seriously enough, Cristiano. We expected more discipline. Maybe this isn't the right place for you. And now here he was, waiting for the next train back to Madeira. Except the train ticket hadn't arrived. Instead, the door opened. It wasn't a coach. It wasn't a director. It was Senor Afonso, the janitor. He didn't say anything at first. Just leaned on the doorframe. Then he said something Cristiano would never forget. Even the best tree falls in the wind once. What matters is if it stands back up. Cristiano didn't reply. Afonso walked in. Sat next to him. Looked at the half-packed bag. You leave now, you prove them right. That line hit like a punch. No one else had said that. Not the coaches. Not his teammates. No one had said he was better than this. But here was a man who scrubbed floors and unclogged toilets, reminding him he still had a choice. And maybe that's what he needed. Not punishment. Not lectures. Just belief. Cristiano didn't sleep that night. He unpacked his bag slowly. Folded his clothes like it mattered. The next morning, he showed up early. First on the pitch. Last to leave. The coaches didn't say anything. But they noticed. The door that had almost closed, stayed open. And Ronaldo, well, he walked through it. Running in the rain. The next few days weren't about football. Not really. They were about something deeper. Something quieter. Cristiano had become invisible on purpose. He didn't joke around in the locker room. He didn't tease the others after training. He didn't celebrate goals too loudly in scrimmages. He just ran. Always ran. If there was a drill, he'd do it twice. If someone else stopped, he kept going. If the coaches asked for 5 laps, he did 6. Without saying a word. Rain didn't stop him either. In fact, he seemed to like it. There was a morning when the sky poured down so hard, most of the players assumed training was cancelled. A few stayed in bed. A few wandered down late to the field, dragging their boots behind them. But Cristiano? He was already on the pitch. Soaked. Alone. Sprinting back and forth like he was racing time itself. One of the assistant coaches watched from the shed, umbrella in hand, just shaking his head. Either he's punishing himself, or he's building something. Maybe both. Because deep down, Ronaldo wasn't just trying to impress anyone anymore. He was testing himself. He wanted to feel the edge. He wanted to know how far he could go before something snapped. And he didn't want to snap again. He remembered the door slamming. The words echoing. "You're not taking this seriously enough." He carried those words around now like weights tied to his legs. But instead of slowing him down, they pushed him harder. Late one evening, when the academy lights had dimmed and the others were inside, Cristiano was still out there, juggling a ball. The janitor, Afonso, passed by again. He stopped, arms folded, watching. "Still here?" he asked, half smiling. Cristiano shrugged. "Nowhere else to be." Afonso nodded. "That's the difference. Others play to leave. You play to stay." Cristiano didn't reply. He just lifted the ball again, letting it bounce once, then flicking it behind his back. The moment said more than words ever could. And that's when something shifted. Not in the academy's staff. Not in the training schedule. But in him. This wasn't about avoiding failure anymore. It was about chasing excellence, no matter the weather, no matter who was watching. The talk no one heard. It had been 3 weeks since the near expulsion. 3 weeks of silence from the higher-ups. No meetings. No warnings. Just drills. Sprints. Weight room. Rain. Cristiano wasn't sure if that was a good thing or a bad thing. But then, one Thursday afternoon, after training, the academy director called for him. "Ronaldo." "My office." The words hit like a cold wind. He followed slowly, towel still draped around his neck, boots muddy and heart pounding. The office was small. Wood-paneled. A map of Portugal hung on the wall with pins stuck in cities where former academy players had gone pro. Madeira had one pin. His. The director didn't ask him to sit at first. He just looked out the window. "I've seen players like you before," he said quietly. Cristiano stayed silent. Talented. Fast. Hungry. But not all of them make it. The words hung in the air, heavy. "You know why?" Cristiano shook his head. "Because some think talent is enough. That's the trap. They get praised too young. They believe it. Then they stop growing." He finally turned around. "You almost left this place 3 weeks ago. Packed your things. Slammed the door. Threw it all away." Cristiano stared at the floor. "But you didn't." He waited. The director gestured to the chair. Cristiano sat. "You've been different since then. You don't laugh as much. You don't talk as much. But you work harder than anyone. I've never seen anyone run like you run in the rain." Cristiano said nothing. The director leaned in slightly. "You have a choice to make. You can play to prove people wrong, or play to prove yourself right." Cristiano met his eyes. "I want to prove I belong." The director nodded slowly. "Then we're going to push you harder. No more warnings. No more coddling. You say you belong? Show us." Cristiano stood up. "I will." As he left the office, he passed the hallway mirror. He didn't pause. Didn't fix his hair. Didn't smile. Because this wasn't a celebration. It was a checkpoint. That night, he didn't go out with the others. Didn't call home. He just lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. And for the first time in weeks, he allowed himself a thought he'd locked away. Maybe I won't just stay. Maybe I'll rise. The one match that changed everything. It wasn't a final. It wasn't even a televised match. Just a mid-season friendly. Sporting's academy team versus a second-tier club visiting for a warm-up. The stands were mostly empty, some parents, a few scouts, and a couple of old men who showed up for every match like it was church. Cristiano wasn't supposed to start. But 15 minutes before kickoff, one of the forwards pulled a hamstring in warm-up. The coach turned to him. "You ready?" Cristiano didn't answer. He just nodded, already pulling off his jacket. The first few minutes were quiet. Standard passing. Long balls. Nothing special. Then, in the 9th minute, something clicked. A midfielder chipped a ball into the box. Cristiano didn't wait for it to fall. He launched himself in the air and smashed a volley, clean, fast, ruthless, right into the net. Even the other bench stood up. But he didn't celebrate. Just jogged back like it was training. Minutes later, he took the ball on the wing. A step over. Another. Then he nutmegged the defender, cut inside, and curled a shot just wide. The crowd gasped. By halftime, he had scored twice, assisted once, and drawn a yellow card on the opposing center back. The coaches said nothing during the break. But their eyes, sharp, focused, said everything. Second half, he came back even sharper. He started calling for the ball. Pointing. Organizing. Talking. That was new. He wasn't just playing well. He was leading. The game ended 4-1. He had 3 goals and an assist. But the moment that mattered most happened after the final whistle. One of the opposing coaches, a grizzled old guy with a deep tan and a notebook, walked straight across the pitch. He didn't ask for a photo or a handshake. He just said one line. "You're going places. Don't slow down." Cristiano didn't smile. But that night, in his notebook, he wrote it down. Word for word. Later, the academy staff reviewed the match footage. No one said it out loud, but they all knew. This wasn't just a good day. It was the day Ronaldo became undeniable. The calls started coming in a week later. The call that changed the trajectory. It was a quiet Monday. Cristiano had just finished his morning run. He liked to go before breakfast, while the world was still groggy and half asleep. It made him feel ahead of everyone else. Like he was stealing hours from the day. He was stretching on the field when the assistant coach jogged over. "Director wants to see you." Now, Cristiano thought maybe it was about schoolwork. Maybe another discipline check. But this time, it was different. He walked into the office and found not one, but 3 people inside. The academy director, the head coach, and a man in a suit he didn't recognize. The man stood up, extended his hand. "Cristiano, my name is Jorge. I work with clubs around Europe." Cristiano didn't move at first. The director nodded. "Go ahead. Sit." He did. The man opened a folder, pulled out 2 pieces of paper. "One is from Lyon," he said calmly. "The other is from Manchester." Cristiano blinked. He thought he'd misheard. "United," Jorge clarified. Cristiano stared at the paper. "Manchester wants me?" The man smiled. "They've seen footage. They've seen reports. And there's a man named Sir Alex Ferguson who says he hasn't seen footwork like yours since, well, ever." Cristiano sat frozen. He wasn't ready. He thought maybe another year. Maybe another match. Maybe a call from a local team first. Not this. But here it was. Right in front of him. The director leaned in. "They're not offering a spot in the academy. They want you in the first team pipeline. Right now." Cristiano's hands were sweating. "What do I do?" he finally whispered. The coach spoke for the first time. "You say yes. And then you train like you've never trained before." Cristiano nodded. That night, he didn't sleep. He called his mother. She cried. He called his older brother. Silence, then a curse, then laughter. He sat on the balcony of the dorm, watching Lisbon's lights blink like distant stars. He thought about Madeira. The empty street he used to juggle on. The broken shoes. The janitor's words. The mirror. Everything felt like it had happened 1,000 years ago, and also just yesterday. The next morning, he signed the papers. And on the last page, beneath the date and signature, he wrote 2 words in tiny letters. Prove it. Because talent had gotten him this far. But from now on, the world would be watching. And he knew this was just the beginning. Before he became a legend, he was almost forgotten. What saved him wasn't luck, it was choice. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more defining moments in Cristiano Ronaldo's incredible journey.